Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Rob here with another tech tip. Today we're going to be talking about Google Meet. Google Meet is Google's video conferencing service, very similar to Zoom or GoToMeeting. And one thing to note before we get started is that Google Meet is not available to all Gmail users. It's actually for G Suite users, which is their business and commercial platform. So for example, if you have an email address through your school that goes through Gmail, more than likely you have access to Google Meet. All of the DAE email addresses are set up through G Suite, so we have Google Meet. But if you have just a regular @gmail.com email address, you may not have the ability to set up Google Meet video conferences. But anybody with any email address can access a Google Meet video conference. You just need to be a G Suite user to set one up. So let's jump in and take a look at how this works. So I'm signed into meet.google.com, and I can either join or start a meeting right from this window. So I click that, and I'm just going to make a quick meeting called test. And when I enter this test meeting, before I actually enter the meeting, I get a little preview. And it says my camera failed. It's because my camera is being used by another program right now. But if your camera wasn't being used, you would see an image of yourself here, and that would be a way to test to make sure your camera is working. The other thing as well is if you look in the bottom left corner, we got some little bars to show that it's picking up my voice. I can also mute or unmute myself right here, and I'd be able to activate or deactivate the camera if the camera was working. So once I have all this information set up, I can just simply click Join Now, and it has me enter in the Google Meet video conference. Now, I have a box that pops up when I enter the meeting that has all of the information on how to join this video conference. So for example, I have this link here that allows me to join through the web, and then I also have a dial-in number. So what's really cool about that is, let's say you set up a meeting with a bunch of people and someone is stuck in traffic, they can actually call in versus using the app on their phone or logging in through the web. So people can just dial in and use this number and PIN in order to enter the meeting, and it works really well. I've tested it a few times. You can invite people by email address by clicking Add People, or you can simply copy the joining information and then send that out to everybody. Also, if for whatever reason you close that box before you copy the joining information, you can go down to where it has the meeting name in the bottom left corner, and it has all of the joining information right there. In addition to that, if I had set up this Google Meet video conferencing session in Google Calendar, which is a feature of G Suite, and I had attached any documents to that, they would show up here. So for example, maybe I was having a meeting with some meeting notes. I could attach those meeting notes to the Google Calendar invite for this Google Meet video conference, and those attachments would show up here, which is really cool. Once you're in the Meet, you send the link out and anybody can join. They don't need to sign into any email service in order to do that. So if someone doesn't have a Gmail account, they can still jump right in. Doesn't make a difference. All they would need is that joining link and it would work. And what would happen is, as people join, there would be a box that pops up that says, so-and-so is looking to join the meeting. Would you like to let them in or not? And you can either block them or allow them. Once everyone is in the meeting, you can see the list of everybody that's in the meeting in the top right over here where it says people. There's also a text chat window, so if you wanted to share any links or anything, which I've done a bunch of times in teaching online classes, you can just send that here and it would get sent to everybody. And then down on the bottom, we can actually turn on closed captions, which work really well. They actually convert your voice to text in real time. And then, if somebody needed their computer on mute or if someone was hearing disabled, they would be able to follow along. And it is pretty accurate, as Google's voice to text features are very good. The other thing as well is we can present our monitor. So if I click present now, I can present my entire screen, or I can present just a single application window. And then everybody in the video conference would see my screen. So that's really great for teaching online lessons like we do in Python or 3D modeling or something. I can share my screen to a group of students and they can see my actions and hear my voice as we go through. And lastly, there's just this button for more options, which allows us to toggle full screen on and off. We can change the layout of the meeting. There are a couple of different ways you can configure all of the people in the meeting. And also you can go back and change your settings. And once you're done with your meeting, you simply press the hang up button or close the window and you will leave the meeting. So that's really all there is to it using Google Meet. It's really, really simple. It works very well. We've had a lot of success with it at the DAE teaching online classes. Really, really nice to use. Like I had mentioned in the beginning, even if you're not a G Suite user, you will be able to log in and participate to video conferences through Google Meet just by having that joining link. And just as an aside, if you are not a G Suite user, you can still use some of Google's video conferencing services. They have two great ones. One is Google Duo, which is kind of like Google's version of FaceTime. It's a way to just make video calls through your phone or computer. And in addition to that, if you log into Google Hangouts, which comes for free with a Gmail account, you can actually set up video conferencing through that. It's just a little bit more simplified. But that's really all there is to it. It's a great video conferencing program. Highly recommend you check it out if you're a G Suite user, and more than likely you'll probably check it out if you're not, as so many people are working from home and using Google Meet as a video conferencing platform. So that's all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to hit that subscribe button because we release new tech tips every day at noon. And in addition to that, check out the DAE.com for some of our private lessons and online workshops, and we release tons of free content on YouTube every day. So make sure you check that out, and I'll look forward to seeing you for another tech tip tomorrow.